Imagine a vast and sprawling scene of untouched land, an endless sight that makes you stop and stare in awe. Now, what if I tell you it's not just an imagination, but a reality? Well, I am talking about 80% untapped land in Canada. Is the fascinating emptiness of Canada intriguing your mind? Being the second largest country in the world and an exemplary welfare state, you might wonder why 39 million people live in a very small area. Surprisingly, the Quebec City Windsor Corridor, with an area of 1,150 kilometers, which is less than 2% of the country's total land, houses 50% of the country's population, making 80% of Canada empty. Well, the weather is the most significant player in this story. The snowy regions have long and harsh winters with temperatures below -40 degrees, with the sun rising after days or weeks. The winds from all three oceans cause thunderstorms, tornadoes, etc. With very little agricultural land in northern Canada and no facilities reaching most regions due to restricted paths, the spots are inhospitable for humans. Or maybe it's Canadians' desire to be close to America. But wait right there, friends. It's not just about weather that contributes to its wilderness. Other factors also play a pivotal role. In this video, we are going to explore all these factors. Let's get started. Geographically, Canada touches three oceans and covers about half of the northern hemisphere. With beautiful forests, snow-capped mountains, and eye-catching prairies, Canada is equipped with all in various regions. The living conditions are excellent, and so are the law and order. Even then, after inviting so many people from around the world, populating the country seems challenging. Let's delve into its geographical location in detail and solve this mystery. Spanning over 4,600 kilometers from north to south and 5,500 kilometers from west to east, Canada occupies half of the northern hemisphere, stretching its edges from the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic oceans. While the country stretches over to this vast area, it has 6 time zones: Pacific, Central, Atlantic, Mountain, Eastern, and Newfoundland. Each of the regions has a good number of rivers, forests, hills, and lakes. Half of the country holds the most ancient rock in the world, termed the Canada Shield, which is a significant factor for the region's rolling hills, swamps, and lakes. The country is divided into 4 major regions: the Atlantic, Northern, Mountainous West, and Flat Prairies, the most fertile lands and the primary source of the country's agricultural center. Also, the Flat region includes deserts in the south and some enormous lakes, such as Manitoba and Winnipeg. Another prominent region which borders Alaska is the West Mountainous region, which includes the provinces of British Columbia and Yukon. The Atlantic province is a mix of frozen and rocky regions, and this small region has densely populated areas. The living conditions are very bearable due to its nearness to the sea. Lastly, the most uninhabited region of Canada is the north, which includes barren lands with harsh and prolonged winters, and the area is loaded with frozen mountains and soil with ice, as far as you can see. Now that you have an idea about Canada's geographical location, it becomes pretty easy for you to solve the mystery behind its wilderness. With the most population concentrated in Quebec, Ontario, and other southern regions of Canada, the question arises as to why this region is populated while other vast lands are intact. The answer to this is the moderate weather and agricultural lands. With fertile land and a habitable environment, most of the population in the country lives across its red-lined region, which meets borders with the US. The southern part is home to Great Lakes and is rich in landscape. The temperature variations are not too extreme like in the north. Approximately 18 million people live in the southern region of Canada. Without question, the weather in Canada is frustrating. Being one of the coldest countries in the world, Canada's temperature can vary from -40 in some regions with snow and freezing winters. At the same time, the other areas enjoy heavy rainfall or moderate weather in all seasons. With the country stretched so far away, its location at the insertion of the ocean and in the northern hemisphere significantly impacts its weather in all regions. For example, the Atlantic has mild winters, but being close to the sea is a reason for heavy rainfall and humid weather. The flat prairies have a sunny and dry season, but are prone to tornadoes and thunderstorms. The southern region has all 4 seasons, with bearable winters and many summer days. Talking about northern Canada, the winters are harsh, and no one dares to tap this area with long winter days and summers having sun up 24 hours. Besides geographical locations, Canada's ocean currents also make its weather unpleasant. Oceans are responsible for circulating the wind and transporting the warmer air to moderate cold regions. With the Pacific Ocean and Atlantic touching the Canadian borders, they bring in rainfall currents and warmer air, toning down the harsh winds, while the Arctic Ocean is the reason for extreme cold and dry winds and brings in some storms along the way. Now, the blending of all 3 oceans significantly impacts the fisheries and marine life, directly affecting the economy in the country's food chain. In the colder water, the fish survival is low, while the warmer water from the Pacific brings a lot of fish and other rare life scenes. The Atlantic Ocean is also a significant reason for hurricanes, harsh thunderstorms, and the weather's warming with time. At the same time, the region in contact with ACFC has also observed warmer temperatures gradually increasing due to changing climate and rising water levels in the ocean. With that said, you must say that most of Canada is unfit for human habitation. This mysterious emptiness of Canada stirs curiosity and raises another question. Has any attempt to habitat this region ever been made? Historically, we figure that from European attempts to colonize Canada to the Inuit settling in colder regions, there have been many attempts to inhabit the vacant part of the country. Even recently, the government has faced excellent demands and salaries for foreigners to come and settle in these regions. But the weather and lack of proper infrastructure, facilities, and other essential life needs, such as medical, food, and transport, make inhabiting those regions impossible. Let's understand it with some examples. Yukon, one of the coldest regions in Canada, has the lowest temperature at -40 degrees Celsius, surpassing the freezing temperatures of Siberia, Russia. So, parts of Yukon in winters are colder than Siberia, where winter temperatures can drop to -30 degrees Celsius. But the interesting thing is that Siberia has better infrastructure and is habitable than Yukon. As you move eastward to Alberta and Saskatchewan, you can experience chilling temperatures up to -30 degrees Celsius or lower, which is comparable to bone-chilling winters of Scandinavia, like Norway. Despite the comparable temperatures, the latter has more advanced systems to cope with the cold and better living conditions. Moreover, the harsh climate, the rugged coastline, and winter storms in the maritime provinces like Newfoundland make daily life more challenging compared to other countries like Iceland and regions like Greenland, which face similar harshness. The regions may have eye-catching landscapes, enchanting mountains, and beautiful lakes. Still, the commute, lack of utilities, and vacant space scare anyone who explores or tries to settle in. All in all, the weather conditions are so harsh that human survival for a long time is questionable. The government needs to put more effort into making it habitable. Canada is rich in natural resources and minerals, from asbestos to diamonds, iron to gold, and oil to natural gas. With vast oil and gas reserves, Canada is the most significant oil reserve on the continent. It is the leading producer of zinc and other elements such as uranium, nickel, potash, and copper. What's more, it has excellent coal and natural gas reserves and is one of the world's wealthiest countries due to its mineral supply. Although the country has tremendous resources and unexplored mines, it is one untapped treasure that needs the workforce and infrastructure to explore further and access regions. So, what does the future hold? The government of Canada is trying to make soft policies and immigration rules to attract foreign nationals to come and settle in untapped regions of the country. With huge attention on infrastructure buildings like schools, healthcare, corporate sector jobs, and other small business setups, the future is predicted to get the population scattered around the country and make use of most regions. Although considering the geographical location, and after many failed attempts of colonization and settlement, it is still a blinking question. Will Canada be able to inhabit its remaining 80% of land area? Mining natural resources and arriving foreign nationals in the country might help it to inhabit the land. Still, the original Canadians will then be very scarce, which may be a problem for the state too.